We just wanted to thank all of you for being here, whether you're family or friends or trying to get extra credit before a final exam. Whatever reason for being here, we really appreciate it. And we also wanted to just recognize our friends from Ethiopian Airlines who are joining us via webcam from Washington, D.C. So before we begin, I'm just going to go down the line and introduce our team. My name's Mac.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Mary Evelyn.
I'm Delaney.
I'm Josie.
I'm Reed Ashton.
I'm Tara.
I'm Riley.
I'm Katie.
I'm Mary Lindley.
I'm Liz.
I'm Annie Watkins.
I'm Zach.
I'm Hartley.
And I'm Shika.
So I know those were brief introductions. If you want to learn more about our wonderful team, you can look at the pamphlets that you got on your way in here. But now that we've told you who we are, we're Magnolia Marketing. We're a group of 15 IMC honor students. We're going to walk you through what we did. And so over the past 4 months, it's been our distinct honor and privilege to work alongside and with our client, Ethiopian Airlines, to develop a marketing campaign to attract American travelers. So in the next hour, we're going to walk you through some overall recommendations that we're going to give you, Ethiopian Airlines. We're going to take you through the 3 audiences that we developed, as well as some strategies that we believe will help you reach them. And lastly, we're going to talk about some big brand ideas, which are really just ideas that we were able to have fun with, but that we see as really viable options for helping Ethiopian Airlines tell their story. So all 15 members of this class have worked effortlessly over the past semester on this. While we've all worked as one unified team, each member has had a specific area that they've focused on, and so as they come up, they're going to talk about that. Also, we wanted to take a moment to just recognize the tragedy that happened in March with an Ethiopian Airlines flight. Though we were a continent away, we were deeply affected by the tragedy. We mourned and prayed along with you, Ethiopian Airlines. But we also just wanted to recognize how greatly we thought that you handled the tragedy and point out that it really only made our resolve to tell your story stronger because we so believe in the story that you do have to tell. So once again, we want to thank all of you for being here. We're going to have time for questions at the end, so we just ask that you keep those eager hands down until then. I have the great privilege of welcoming up a couple more of my colleagues to talk about some observations and opportunities regarding our project. So please put your seat backs and tray tables in their upright and locked position, and let's get this thing started.
Before an integrated marketing communications plan could be constructed, an in-depth analysis of our client was conducted. So we looked into the history, the rankings, the industry, the issues, the marketing. We took all of this into account. And we also, each of us conducted this in-depth analysis, but also we conducted thorough analysis of our competitors. So using this information, additional information provided from the client, and just additional research, we used these and we explored the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of Ethiopian Airlines, and specifically how it relates to the marketing communications opportunities. And these will be described in the following SWOT analysis. So from there, various potential brand messages were discussed and explored, but all ideas had merit. But in the end, there was one distinctly powerful and unique idea, unique to the airline, and this is what's carried us through the campaign and what's the basis for all aspects of the campaign. So the charge from the client was to create a campaign to increase awareness of Ethiopian Airlines for American travelers. So to do this, our markets targeted were 2 different segments of leisure travelers and business travelers, and all of whom are traveling to Ethiopia. So our Magnolia Marketing Agency, we broke up into 3 different teams made up of 5 members each, and we all were focused for a different target.
So like she said, we did an analysis of what we perceived as Ethiopian Airlines' strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And these are things that we really tried to keep in mind throughout creating this campaign. Some of the strengths that we've decided to focus on are the Skylight Hotel, Ethiopian Holidays Program, and the Star Alliance. Some of the weaknesses that we decided to address that we'll go more in depth on later are website user experience, social media consistency, and an emphasis on travel agents versus individual travelers. Some of the opportunities that we really wanted to emphasize that we think Ethiopian Airlines does really well is their Ethiopian Airlines app, a growing interest in international travel, U.S. travelers who are looking for more exotic and different locations to travel to, and the growth of Addis Ababa as a hub city. And some of the threats that we wanted to look at are the stigma of Africa. Sometimes American travelers can really look at Africa as somewhere that's dangerous or unfamiliar to them. And we also wanted to address Google search engine optimization and targeted ads. And we would like to invite our colleagues up to talk about research and insights.
So before you can create a targeted campaign, you have to do research and insights. We focus primarily on ourselves as well as our competitors and conducted primary and secondary research into these 15 competitors by talking to Mr. Worku, Dr. Bayana, and doing market analysis. A quick glance at these competitors is in your campaign booklet, and a larger one is in the appendix. Today we are going to talk about 6 in particular.
So Austrian Airlines has an excellent online presence. They really own the hashtag #MyAustrianMoment, and their website is very individualized, personalized. Depending on what country you're from, they have different destinations that cater to that audience. So it was a really great model for us to look at. Also, Air Canada, very proud of their country. They're very culturally aware. And so we drew on some of their messaging campaigns to develop a strategy for Ethiopian Airlines as well. And Kenya Airways is a huge competitor with Ethiopian Airlines. They have similar flight routes and all of that. While Ethiopian Airlines has more amenities, Kenya Airways has lower prices. So that was fundamental for us to understand Ethiopian Airlines placement.
South African Airways poses a credible threat as a competitor because they have cornered the market from flights leaving JFK going to Africa. They also have brand recognition in the U.S. as the African air carrier. Emirates is also a credible threat because they have spent a large sum of money sponsoring U.S. sports teams, as well as rolling out a campaign that they contribute heavily to the U.S. economy and its success. Finally, though United is our partner through the Star Alliance, they are also a competitor because they run many of the same routes that we do. Their prices are similar, and they have a higher brand recognition in the U.S. As you know, the airline industry is very complex, and there is no one way to classify competitors. So through our research, we found 4 main criteria: price, routes, brand recognition, and luxury. And airline competitors can fall into more than one category. To simplify it, we have made a Venn diagram to show where the competitors as well as where Ethiopian Airlines falls. Ethiopian Airlines currently competes on prices and routes. We want to use our project to move Ethiopian Airlines into the center where United Airlines is so they can compete on price, routes, and brand recognition.
So while on the trip, we had the opportunity to talk with different passengers who were in the airport and also on our flight. And through these informal interviews, we gained insights into how they also chose Ethiopian Airlines. For example, one type of passenger that we encountered was a group of high school students who were traveling with their principal. And through our conversations with these individuals, we determined that the trip was booked through a travel agent, and Ethiopian Airlines was ultimately decided upon based on price. Another type of passenger we encountered were individuals traveling to Africa. So one of us was actually seated next to a couple on their honeymoon, and they booked the trip completely by themselves, no travel agent. They just wanted a romantic getaway, and that's how they did it. And we also interacted with several members of the VFR category. That's visiting family and relatives, and we know that that's an important segment for Ethiopian Airlines. We think some important insights could be gathered from the in-flight survey that was on the back of the TV seats from that. Oh, and so we used this information, the secondary research determining Ethiopian Airlines placement with its competitors, and also our primary research through actually getting to experience the product and conduct these informal interviews to build a campaign. And so this is where we want is to build more brand recognition for Ethiopian Airlines. And now we'll welcome up the team that will describe that message to you. So, as Katie and Mary Lindley just explained, our goal for Ethiopian Airlines was to develop a very strong brand that will be recognized in the American market. So, we did a lot of research, as they said, and we even traveled to Ethiopia to tour the facilities and to meet with the upper level executives to really understand what message Ethiopian Airlines is trying to get across. We found that there were so many good possibilities because Ethiopian Airlines has a story that needs to be told. But what we wanted to find was something really unique. Every airline can claim that they have the lowest prices or they have the best service or they have the best routes, but we needed to find something to hit on that Ethiopian Airlines could only claim.
And so a couple of concepts resonated with us. First, connection. Now, every airline can discuss and talk about their connections and their flights, but one thing that makes the unique aspect of Ethiopian Airlines is their human connection. Humankind originated in the land that's known as Ethiopia. All of us in this room have a connection to Ethiopia. And so with that being said, that's something that no other nation's airline can complement or claim to. Secondly, we thought about the hub. Now, again, airlines can talk about hubs and all the hubs across the world, but how we defined hub was creator, core, and heart. And that's what represents the nation of Ethiopia. Ethiopia is the hub of mankind. And so with that, we believe that it establishes these subtle themes of identity, history, longevity, and so much more that resonates with our target audiences, both business travelers and leisure travelers alike. We here at Magnolia Marketing strongly and passionately believe that these concepts exemplifies the essence of our brand, the brand of Ethiopian Airlines. And so with that, our brand message is Ethiopian Airlines, the world's original hub.
Our team at Magnolia Marketing has created a visual reflection to show you guys the theme of our campaign, The Hub. It evokes how the hub of mankind, the hub of human origins, is your only destination, whether you're landing for business, leisure, or travel.
From the beginning, Ethiopia has been the hub of human connection. Every person in the world belongs here because they originated here. And we are continuing this legacy. We connect people, we connect culture, we connect business. We connect the world to their legacy in Africa. We connect Africa to the rest of the world. From the world's original hub, let Ethiopian Airlines show you the new spirit of Africa with convenience, hospitality, and comfort like never before. We connect you to more than 130 destinations on 5 continents, and as a Star Alliance member, we connect you beyond that. Strong and stable, bold and peaceful. We rise. We are Ethiopian Airlines. We are the world's original hub.
While this video is a reflection of our campaign, it is not a commercial that can be posted on social media. It is a mock-up video which content has been pulled from different sources. We hope this visual aid has driven home the idea of Ethiopian Airlines, the world's original hub. Now I'd like to introduce Tara and Zach to talk about overall recommendations.
The Ethiopian Airlines website and social media are likely the first interaction a potential customer would have with the brand, especially a customer from the United States market. That's why it's so important for Ethiopian Airlines digital, for their website and social media to show exactly how reliable and excellent the brand is.
One of the most important ideas that we want to emphasize by far was basically a complete restructuring of the current Ethiopian Airlines website. We found that 46% of consumers decided business credibility based on their website alone. And so by basically simplifying the overall design, yet still keeping all the information intact, simply easier to find, we felt that it'd create a more accessible user experience and would lead to more direct booking of flights through Ethiopian Airlines. Continuing with the overall hub theme of our campaign, we felt that the main page should serve as a hub connecting to all other pages of the website through tabs located at the top, such as flights, hotels, vacations, and more. And as part of that, we also felt that each of the target groups that we discussed further in the presentation, business and leisure tourism, should have their own separate website portals.
After analyzing the Ethiopian Airlines social media, the Magnolia marketing team has identified 2 categories we believe Ethiopian Airlines could improve: interaction and planning. For interaction, we want to increase interaction with followers, create community, and verify social accounts. To increase interaction with followers, this means to open up the line of communication with followers and the brand by replying to comments and letting followers know that they are heard and valued. For negative comments, many companies have a standard response to inquire more information from the commenter through direct message or email to handle the situation privately. To create community, Ethiopian Airlines should encourage their flyers to post on social media with their positive experiences. This creates free advertising for Ethiopian Airlines while remaining authentic in the eyes of those viewing the content. And to verify social accounts, this is important to let followers know which social accounts are real and which social accounts they can trust. Verified accounts are shown with a blue check mark on Instagram and Twitter to let people know which accounts are verified. As far as social media planning, we recommend a social content calendar and a social media checklist. A social content calendar ensures that each campaign is planned well in advance and organized to avoid any overlap and to ensure that each platform is getting enough attention. Social media checklist means that each post should go through a social media checklist to ensure that it aligns with brand standards. This means that if the post does align with brand standards, it's good to post. If not, it should be altered to align with brand standards before posting on social media.
Finally, in dealing with all of these digital redesigns, we did want to commend Ethiopian Airlines for their smartphone app, which we saw as pretty much aligning with this vision that we want to communicate with both the website and social media. It's very well designed, it's simple to use, and all the information is very clearly organized and easy to access. Thus, we feel that Ethiopian Airlines should use their smartphone application essentially as a reference point for all of these future redesigns to go into each of these other digital areas. And thus, by doing all of this and by basing it off of this one already established design, it'll allow for a more consistent branding across all digital platforms and overall enhanced user experience. And now we'd like to pass things on to the business group.
So now we're going to talk about our 3 target markets, beginning with business.
So yes, our first target market is business travelers. And the reason we think this is a really important market for Ethiopian Airlines to target is because there are tons of companies who are looking to move their business to Africa. In fact, companies that deal in oil, accounting, energy, infrastructure, smartphone producers, and internet access developers are all looking to move their businesses to Africa. That is so much opportunity. And again, we're not trying to convince people to do business in Africa. They're already doing it. In fact, there are almost 10 countries that have a gross national product in Africa that is larger than China's. And so there's so much potential. And so in this next section, we're going to show you how we're going to get them to fly Ethiopian Airlines.
For business travelers, coming to Ethiopia can be intimidating and difficult. And especially when you're planning a trip for a whole group of business people, you're trying to book flights, rooms, transportation, and meals for a whole group of people, and that can be really difficult and intimidating. So we want to simplify that process for our business travelers. So we came up with the idea for a private website just for business travelers, etbusiness.com. And here on the website, Ethiopian business travelers would have access to booking flights in our business class, rooms at the Skylight Hotel, transportation to and from the airport, restaurant reservations, information about ET Holidays trips, and information on how to attain a travel visa. This way, business travelers know that they are taken care of every step of the way.
This valuable tool gives business corporations what they value most: ease and convenience, unless they don't know about it. That is where advertising, public relations, and social media comes into play. But as my colleague said, the types of businesses that are going to Africa are so vast. You have everything from soft drinks to medical supplies. How do you target them at the same time? We found the commonality of business. At the end of the day, all of these companies are businesses, so we need to be where businesses are, trade associations and corporate organizations such as LinkedIn. By partnering with some of these trade associations and furthering the relationships Ethiopian Airlines already has with some of them, we have a great opportunity to reach business travelers. And we can use our social media and LinkedIn to also promote. LinkedIn is one of the fastest growing and most used business tools by Fortune 500 companies. You can make detailed, targeted ads that are narrowed specifically for the type of business that you are trying to attract. And now we would like to turn it over to our next target audience, the guided traveler.
So our second target audience are those travelers we describe as, actually some of us might be in the room right now, hesitant or traveling to Ethiopia for the first time. The traveler desires to have an authentic Ethiopian experience, but at the same time, they also really wish the comforts of home, and we describe them as the guided traveler. Now, what's under the guided traveler will be visiting family relatives, specifically those of second generation Westerners or others, seniors, citizen tourists, as well as charitable and educational groups that are going to Ethiopia for the first time, and lastly, families traveling with children. And now the message that we want to convey to this specific target audience is that Ethiopian Airlines is the premier choice. Ethiopian Airlines to the whole continent of Africa is known as the best and the largest carrier. So who better than any other airlines that knows Africa better, who's equipped to host you to your trip to Africa? And so another point about this traveler is that, unlike the other audiences, is that they need more assistance. They need the consultation, the comfort that Ethiopian Airlines will be there for you and provide these catered and handheld experiences and itineraries no matter where you are.
So like Shika said, our audience is very interested in having a catered experience when planning their trip to Ethiopia or the rest of Africa. And one of the best ways we found to reach this target audience was through travel agents. So a guided traveler is way more likely to use a third party like a travel agent in order to plan their trip and assure that every moment from the booking to arriving at their destination to coming home will be comfortable and familiar, and that everything will just be planned out for them. So travel agents is one of the main ways that we plan to reach this guided traveler. And in order to reach travel agents, we want to deliver them with just so much information that they can pass directly along to the consumer. And we'll do that through information packets and brochures. And so through these information packets and brochures, we really want to reiterate the message that Ethiopian Airlines is a trusted hub and should be the first and only way to plan your trip to Ethiopia and Africa. And now Josie and Shika will elaborate on these deliverables.
So we've previously talked in this presentation about changes that we would like to be seen made for the website, and that is simply to make the information that's already available on there easier and more concise and clear. But in addition to the website changes, we also came up with the idea of creating brochures. These brochures would be given to travel agents so they have a very concise place where they can find information about the airline so they can tell potential customers about it. So the idea behind it is that they would have information both on the in-flight experience and the post-flight experience, which includes both the tours that Ethiopian Airlines provides and places to stay like the Skylight Hotel. So both of these brochures would be given to travel agents that they can study and then give out to potential customers at their decision. So the first brochure that we have is the in-flight experience, and it covers topics such as food and entertainment options, different credentials and destinations that Ethiopian Airlines services, and finally different information about seating options. And we really want travel agents to have a full in-depth knowledge and understanding of what it's like to fly Ethiopian, so that when our target audience, the guided travelers, come to them needing assistance planning their trip to Ethiopia or to Africa in general, the travel agent knows that this is the only airline they should fly.
And for our second brochure, what we wanted to do is that we noticed that Ethiopian Airlines, on their website, they already have ET holidays and other amazing package deals that definitely make them stand out in comparison to any other African airlines. But with that, it's really crucial and helpful for the guided traveler as well as travel agents to have that information in hand or in brochure so that they know that they're taken care of not only in the flight, but during their journey in Ethiopia. And so 3 points that we wanted to talk about this pamphlet was, one, accessibility. So going back to the ET packages, we really wanted to choose tours and lots of Ethiopian Airlines establishments that were really based on the interests of the guided traveler. So that includes Safari Escape or Lucy's Tale, which is more of like a historic route, and many others. So 2, we want to talk about accountability. We want the guided traveler to depend on us, to understand that Ethiopian Airlines has you for your stay and your transportation. For stay, we talk about the amenities and the details of the wonderful Skylight Hotel by Ethiopian Airlines, and as well as we talk about the ground transportation that will be provided throughout their journey and stay in Ethiopia. And also we include contact information so that no matter where you are in the world, you can reach an Ethiopian Airlines representative close to your phone. And lastly, authenticity. Again, we want to reiterate that in reality, the guided traveler wants an authentic Ethiopian experience, but also something that's familiar, known, and safe. But safe meaning something that they will understand, a catered experience that they will know that their expectations will be met. But we also understand that Ethiopian Airlines will not only meet those expectations, but transcend beyond them.
Another aspect for reaching these guided travelers are different public relations strategies. So we believe that there is value in earned media, which is essentially public relations, and taking this and convincing others to relay our message. So we've come up with many ideas of articles and pitches, but not only is PR about pitching news about Ethiopian Airlines to different publications, but it's also about pitching travel and lifestyle ideas to different publications. So then not only will Americans find out about Ethiopian Airlines and what's going on with the business, but also they will find out about the different business and adventure opportunities that Ethiopian Airlines cares about. And these strategies will also aid Ethiopian Airlines search engine optimization, which in turn is going to increase their brand awareness. So we want there to be packages of these media kits that include the following pitches and articles. Examples of these topics are a pitch about a guided, authentic coffee tour through the plateaus of Ethiopia. So coffee was discovered in Ethiopia, and this is a big selling point all around the world. There is the Ethiopian holidays, or ET holidays, that has been mentioned before. There's already a tour that guides these travelers through every step of the way to experience coffee in its original place. So it guides travelers through where they're staying, their flights, their ground transportation, and translators, and more. So another example of an article is about the Skylight Hotel. It's so beautiful and it's so luxurious, and so many people had the opportunity to go see it. So an article written by Hartley, an article similar to this could be shared with a publication such as Condé Nast Traveler, the online version of it, and we just think that that's exactly where it would belong. Another example of an article is about traveling to Ethiopia on a budget, and it's about where to stay, what to do, where to go, where to be, and it's just all about holding these travelers' hands through every step of the way and guiding them through all of their questions and every step. So through sending all of these articles and emails, pitches to these different travel agents, travel websites, and travel magazines, hopefully these guided travelers are going to be more and more likely to travel from the U.S. to Ethiopia.
So Tara already talked about two aspects of social media, and that is interaction and planning. And now we're going to talk about a third aspect of social media, which is creative strategy. So social media, a successful social media account isn't random. There's a lot of thought that comes into it, and so we're going to share some creative strategies that we think will be very effective for Ethiopian Airlines social accounts. So first we have credibility. So Ethiopian Airlines is an established and renowned airline, and we want people to see that when they visit our social accounts, especially a guided U.S. traveler who maybe doesn't know much about Ethiopian Airlines in general. They should be able to look at our account and see posts about like awards that Ethiopian Airlines has won or other ratings or things like that that don't always make the most interesting content, but we think it's super important to include it because it establishes credibility and builds trustworthiness. Next, we want to talk about customer satisfaction. So Ethiopian Airlines satisfied customers can speak for themselves, and so what we mean by that is testimonial posts. We believe first I want to point out that studies show that consumers make purchasing decisions based on other consumers' experiences more than any other factor. So by posting testimonials, we believe we will gain credibility and trustworthiness in that way. And also it's just engaging content. Like as humans, we like to hear other people's stories. And if someone has a particularly interesting story of why they're choosing to travel to Ethiopian Airlines, we believe that would be effective to share. Next, positive in-flight experience. We believe Ethiopian Airlines provides unparalleled service and has top-of-the-line aircrafts, but a person who's not familiar with Ethiopian's brand might not know that. A quick Instagram search where you could see the interior of the plane would prove beneficial and for that person to know that Ethiopian is a well-established airline. So examples of posts for that would be people interacting with flight attendants, just the interior of the plane, the food is served, these little components that we care about when we travel, they need to be seen in the social media accounts. And then lastly, destinations. Nature and travel accounts are really popular right now. People like to see that kind of beauty on their Instagram feed. So we believe that if we show off some of the destinations that Ethiopian Airlines has, it will be engaging and it actually would give people a reason to follow us if they, don't really care about interior of planes as much, but want to see the beautiful country. Yes, so in conclusion, just want to reiterate that we believe that social media has to be intentional to be successful. So next up, we're going to welcome up our next target audience.
So this target audience consists of tourists going to any part of Africa. These individuals want experiences in exotic locations, places their friends have never been before. They really want to collect memories, not so much souvenirs. So freedom is really important to this target audience segment, as they like the flexibility to change plans and do their own spontaneous thing. When they go on an international trip, they don't necessarily need their hand held. They want the option to choose from a variety of things and then pick the best one for them. So we're really selling an experience to this target audience, not so much a flight. The idea is that we give them a glimpse of what they could achieve by going to these beautiful locations and then establishing the fact that Ethiopian Airlines is the only way to get there as the hub of adventure.
In correlation with the website suggestions for both the business group and Ethiopian Airlines as a whole, we felt that the leisure tourism group should also have their own separate website portal that encompasses both the guided travelers and the more adventurous travelers. As of right now, tourism and travel package information is pretty much split between Ethiopian Airlines' main website and an ET Holidays separate website. And so we felt that consolidating both of those websites under one consistent brand would go a long way to helping passengers actually be able to find the information that they're looking for. We also recommended a rebranding from ET Holidays to ET Vacations, simply because since we are catering to a more American audience and the term vacations translates better to travel and tourism rather than holidays. And so the sample that we have here was pulled from the Ethiopian Tourism Organization website. And as you can see, they have a very well-done website that emphasizes both the nice photos of different things to do in Ethiopia, but also has all the information very clearly labeled. Flights, tour packages, calendar events, cost. And ideally, we'd love an individual section where travelers can talk to an agent, either a tourism expert working directly for Ethiopian Airlines or a travel agent in partnership with the airline that will set passengers up directly with Ethiopian Airlines as their choice of flight to these destinations.
As Katie introduced, our target audience has a strong desire for adventure. Whether they want to step outside of their comfort zone to find the next big thing or just to capture that perfect Instagrammable moment, these people are trying to find out the next big trend. So since 2016, influencers and online gurus have been on the uprise. And you might be even wondering, what exactly is an influencer? Simply put, it's just an individual who has significant following on social media.
So there are many ways to pay an influencer for the work they do for a company. You can do travel compensation, complimentary airfare, or just a flat rate of money. But a different, more creative approach to attracting influencers would be to create a contest for micro-influencers. So basically, anyone could submit their most creative travel photo and caption with the hashtag #ExploreEthiopia to enter the micro-influencer contest. So Ethiopian Airlines or ET Holidays would pick the best top 100 submissions, and maybe the next round is to record and submit a video of your best traditional Ethiopian dance moves. And we know from our experience in Africa that Professor Feeney has a really good shot at winning this round.
And on the board, what you're watching are mock-up Instagram stories of what an influencer would post if they partnered with Ethiopian Airlines.
So by creating a bracket to kind of follow the contest down to its final few, we could get followers of Ethiopian Airlines to vote for their favorite influencers. This gives an opportunity to really participate in the contest without being a direct contestant, and also an opportunity to engage with the brand. So once the contest gets down to the 10 finalists, each one of those 10 could choose a different package or excursion on the ET Holidays trip. And while on their vacation, they record and create content that they share with their prior fan base and also their newly acquired from being on the bracket and engaging with people that way. Just to post through multiple outlets. The only thing they have to do is to create engaging content while they're on this trip, which is a really small price to pay for getting a free trip on Ethiopian Airlines. So in the end, a micro-influencer contest generates more organic content through Instagram posts and blog stories and things like that. And it also gives micro-influencers, ordinary people, the opportunity to explore Africa.
As you can see, our target audience is very digital based. And so we want to find out a way to really reach them directly in this realm that they're at. And so we brainstormed a lot of different ideas, and we thought about that natural sense of curiosity that this adventurer group really has. And so what we ended up coming up with was #TakeTheKey. This is a digital video campaign that revolves around showcasing all kinds of different scenic videos of tourist destinations in Africa that Ethiopian Airlines offers travel to, but only visible through a keyhole. So in that regard, it creates that very immediate sense of, oh, what's going on? What is further in? How do I get to there through the keyhole? And so the way that we do that is incorporate it through social media and through banner ads on different websites. And for example, the social media, we fly out to the hub of Africa. All you have to do is take the key. With bridges spanning all across Africa, Ethiopian Airlines is the hub that lets you take the key. Ethiopian Airlines is the hub that connects all of Africa. Fly out today and take the key. Just for some samples, all really continuing to emphasize that core hub theme, that Ethiopian Airlines is the hub that takes you to all these different locations. And by clicking on that video link, they will be redirected to the tourism website portal. And from there, they can just compound their curiosity further and further by finding out more about different trips, destinations, tour packages, all the information that they would need.
So like we mentioned, our target audience is naturally curious and they want control over their trip. So the first place they're going to go is to Google to do some research. And we think this is really important for Ethiopian Airlines to be the top thing that shows up when they're Googling about their trip to Africa in general or Ethiopia specifically. And we recommend using Google AdWords for this. It's a very cost-effective method To get your point across, you only pay for what gets clicked on, so you're only paying for ads that are being used and being seen. And then also, we want to use targeted ads on blogs about trips to Ethiopia, so when they're looking for advice about their trip and tips and tricks and learning about what is the best way to travel around Africa, they're associating that with Ethiopian Airlines.
So far in our presentation, we've shown you a lot of ideas that are targeted towards very specific markets, but we also have a lot of really great ideas that cut across all of our markets. And as Max said at the beginning of the presentation, these are some of our most fun, swing for the fences, really big ideas, and we like to formally call these our big brand ideas. We believe that these ideas are the perfect way to tap to the US market by providing people with unique experiences and events that will really encourage social media engagement and consumer interaction. So when we think about our flyer experience, we really want that to start as soon as they walk into the airport. We want them to feel like they're getting a genuine Ethiopian experience. And so what are two things that Ethiopia is really well known for? It's being the home of the world's best coffee and the home of Ethiopian Airlines. So we thought, why not combine the two and create pop-up coffee shops in US airports that contain Ethiopian Airlines? Sorry.
So our second idea is all around displaying Ethiopian Airlines planes on American soil. And so what you're seeing here is a flyover from the 2015 Liberty Bowl. A common misconception, or at least one that I was under, was that only bombers and jets do flyovers. But as you can see, commercial airlines can do them. And so what better way for Ethiopian Airlines to display one of their planes than to fly over the first game of, the Texans opening season, or the Cubs, or the Rebels? You never know. So flyovers are one great option, and then also air shows, right? So if you're unveiling a new model of car, you're going to go to an auto show. If you're a brand merchandiser, you're going to go to a trade show. And so we think the same applies for air shows. What better way for American travelers and businesses to be able to familiarize themselves with an Ethiopian airline plane than for the revolutionary Dreamliner to be at the Houston Air Show in October with a pilot there and a couple of wonderful flight attendants for them to interact with and kind of get to know Ethiopian beyond just another airline. And so this is just a fun mock-up we did of a plane. We know that Ethiopian Airlines likes to name all of their planes, and so we think a cool feature for American travelers would be naming planes after cities that they fly out of. So this is just one a mock-up that we did.
And lastly, we want to talk about sponsorship opportunities. So this idea came up when my group was really talking about, well, what are some big ways that we can really get that brand recognition that we were talking about? And The Lion King came up. So Disney is creating a new live-action version of The Lion King that's premiering in July. And due to its July premiere date, it is most likely too late for Ethiopian Airlines to make a partnership with them. We just really wanted to put this idea out there to look for in the future. So first I want to use a couple examples. So if you'll see in the top corner, there's a dinosaur chasing a Mercedes SUV. And you're probably wondering, what do dinosaurs and Mercedes have to do with one another? Well, in 2015, Mercedes-Benz created an integrated campaign with Jurassic World, a movie that was premiering that summer, one of the biggest movies of the year, to just really partner together and have, like I said, a lot of brand awareness. So, like I said, what did dinosaurs and Mercedes have to do with one another? Well, the whole plot line of Jurassic World is that it's a luxury theme park, and what better way than to partner with one of the world's most iconic luxury brands, Mercedes-Benz. So in that way, the company Mercedes is really tying in their huge selling point with the plot line of the movie. So that is one of the most important things to think about when you're thinking what movies to sponsor. So I want to talk about the second picture that you'll see down here. It's the Geico lizard with the Avengers gauntlet on his hand. And so what does insurance and superheroes have to do with one another? And we kind of were joking about this one, and it's because the Geico lizard is a huge pop culture kind of icon. He's on a lot of social media, Twitter, meme accounts. And Avengers is a huge pop culture reference right now, with just one of the biggest movies of the year. And so, like we said, even though Lion King is premiering this July, there is a Disney movie in the works that is featuring an African princess. And so when you're, like we said, thinking about movies to partner with, things that really tie in that plot line in the story into common themes with your brand are really beneficial. So here you'll see Southwest partnered with Coco. And Southwest is known for being a really family-friendly airline, and Coco was a really fun animated family film. And then you'll see Dumbo partnered with Spirit, and their hashtag was Soar with Spirit. So this isn't an unusual marketing campaign, but we thought would really resonate with American audiences, with Disney being very family friendly and everyone kind of uniting behind that in order to get Ethiopian Airlines really well acquainted with our target audiences.
So in conclusion, we'd just like to reiterate that Ethiopian Airlines is the world's original hub and continues to connect people through Addis Ababa today. We believe if you let this message incorporate itself into your brand, you will find that it will really resonate with potential consumers. Next, we just want to talk about our recommendations. We gave a lot, but we just want to reemphasize right now that we believe the website is the most important. It needs to improve in usability and overall quality. And then we want to say that of all the recommendations we gave, a lot of them were hard to come up with the price on. They just vary so greatly. So we're refraining from talking about costs at this time. And all of this information is more will be in this campaign booklet that you'll receive shortly. And to our friends in Washington, we're going to mail this to you today or tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly. So now we just like to take the opportunity on behalf of our class, Ethiopian Airlines. It's been such an honor to work with you, to work for a company that's so admired for its leadership and mission. It's really been a worthwhile experience, and we're excited to take what we've learned into our careers. On behalf of the University of Mississippi, Ethiopian Airlines, we're looking forward to see where our partnership will take us, and it's been an honor once again. And I want to make sure I talk about this why am I emotional? I don't know. Professor Feeney, you mean so much to our class, and you really are so passionate in everything that you do, and it just rubs off on us. And here we are, we're graduating in 2 days, but we're really excited to be here doing a presentation because you care so much. So thanks for that, yeah. And I think that's everything. So right now we're going to watch our brand representation video one more time, and then we're going to come back up for questions if there are any, and thank you.
From the beginning, Ethiopia has been the hub of human connection. Every person in the world belongs here because they originated here. And we are continuing this legacy. We connect people, we connect culture, we connect business. We connect the world to their legacy in Africa. We connect Africa to the rest of the world. From the world's original hub, let Ethiopian Airlines show you the new spirit of Africa with convenience, hospitality, and comfort like never before. We connect you to more than 130 destinations on 5 continents, and as a Star Alliance member, we connect you beyond that. Strong and stable, bold and peaceful. We rise. We are Ethiopian Airlines. We are the world's original hub.
Before we take questions, you got to hear
From the beginning,
our.
Ethiopia.
You got to hear all of our contributions, but one thing you probably don't know is the contributions you see we owe Delaney a lot for, and she needs a special thank you for all her hard work.
We're ready to take questions at this time.
Professor Burson.
I'd like to second the comments that you made regarding Professor Feeney. He is not only an inspiration to students, but he is an inspiration to his colleagues as well. So, Ms. Campbell, I have a question for you. Your team does a great job of talking about the what of Ethiopian Airlines. Do you mind sharing with us your thoughts on why they do it?
I think from our experiences, we can research an airline secondary and reading articles and all, but actually going and visiting their headquarters, getting to even visit with the CEO, and he hand fed us raw meat. It was exciting. They're not in it. They're not in, like it didn't seem like a company. They're trying to make revenue, and obviously that's important, but it was like a big family, and longevity was a big deal. Everybody can back me up on this, but it was more like a community working together. And so I guess the why of it would honestly, connection. And that was one of the words we tossed around when we were coming up with the hub and all of that. It was just connecting people. What do we have in common? What can we learn from each other? And I think they take that into their everyday considerations when they're running a massive airline. But anybody else have any ideas? Okay.
Yeah. We actually did talk to, okay, we're just going to come over here. We actually did talk to the CEO a little bit about this while we were there, and he mentioned kind of the same thing about how they're a company. Yes, they do have to make revenue, but one of the things that was really important to them is promoting Ethiopia, as it's like often kind of looked down upon from Western countries and that kind of thing. Am I good? Okay. And so just like kind of promoting Ethiopia, showing them what they can do, showing them that they can compete with the rest of the world. And when we were there, it was amazing to see like how involved Ethiopian Airlines was with the rest of the community there. Like the whole country kind of depends on them. So that was pretty cool.
Are there any other questions? Yeah, shout it out if you do.
I'm singing all of.
You don't have one?
I'm a Siganala.